Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my wife, Carol. How are you today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It's July 15th, 1999.
It is.
We watched A Local Hero on 90210.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about this episode. I feel like every episode's basically the same. Like,
there is some homogeny going on, I think, with the episode. Steve has a wacky plot
again.
No, I'm giving how every episode goes.
Mm-hmm.
Steve has a wacky plot. Donna has a misunderstanding with Noah. Kelly and Matt have relationship issues. Dylan and Gina have relationship issues. Gina is somehow disappointed by something, whether it's professionally or personally. What's his name? Brian Austin Green. David. David is either making things work or making things not work with a girl. And Janet is first disappointed and then pleased with Steve.
Yeah. And
that's the template for how every episode goes.
Literally every episode, yes.
And that's the episode this week, guys.
Hey, we can wrap it up right now.
I just broke down everything. I mean, without details, I just broke down everything that happened in this episode, and it's the same every single week.
Yeah. This week, I was again, like, hopeful that they're going to break up, the two couples, but
yeah.
No, nobody broke up again.
It's still, there's only a few episodes until the end of the season, and it feels like, which is the where, that's, once we get to the end of this season, we're caught up to everyone else in the world. So everyone else in the world that watches the show anyway knows what's happened already. And soon we will also know what has happened.
I can't wait.
But, so it feels like they're just spinning their wheels until whatever happens in the finale happens. It's like they want to keep the idea that they're going to break up the two couples, Gina and Dylan, and Matt and Kelly. They're going to break them up. Like, they're headed towards a breakup, and they keep, like, heading towards a breakup. It's like that scene in Austin Powers where he's got what do they call those flattener things?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about? The big machine that's got the big like circle on it, the big wheel on it is like flatten things. And he's headed towards some guy, and the guy's like, and he's like, move out of the way, and he's going like 1 mile an hour, and they just they keep going, like they cut back and forth really fast between the two of them. And it's like it's like, get out of the way, and then there's a wide shot, and it's just slowly approaching. That's what this plot is like, where they're like, Matt, Gina, Dylan, Kelly, and then we just like pan out, and they're just slowly heading towards a breakup.
Right. It's very annoying.
So that's what it seems like is going on with them. But I guess let's start with that storyline. Whichever one you want to do.
So the name of the episode is Local Hero, and it starts out with Kelly and Dylan running into each other in the parking lot of a grocery store.
Yeah.
And I guess deciding to get coffee, so they were together in his car.
He says something really weird where he's like, I'm nursing a bowl of cereal or something like that.
Servicing.
I'm servicing a bowl of cereal and it needs milk. What the fuck does that mean?
That he's getting the milk for the cereal. You get it.
I don't. It's dumb.
It was a dumb line, yes.
But then, I guess they drink coffee in her car.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep saying it was just coffee. It's just coffee, but like they were in his car, which looks really bad. Mm-hmm. So he sees some guy running up on, actually moseying over towards this woman and her child.
How does he know? This is really weird. Dylan's sitting in the car and sees a Mexican person approaching someone, and he's like, oh my God, crime!
You think they were Mexican?
I don't know. I don't know what he was.
Yeah,
I didn't get a look.
I thought he was a generic white dude.
Was he white? Oh, he was white. You're right.
The mother and son were African American. He was.
You're right. He was just a white dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know how he knows. He was wearing a jean jacket.
But yeah, so he grabs this woman's child, the guy that walked up, and says, "Give me your purse." And she's just screaming, "Let him go! Let him go!" Like, give him your purse.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, why are you even talking? Just give him the purse and he'll let go and run away. I'm sure that was his plan.
The mom was like, "I don't negotiate with terrorists."
You see this money? This is as close as you're ever going to get to it.
Right.
So Dylan runs up with a shopping cart and first he hit. Yes, the shopping cart was first.
Yeah, I think shopping cart. Yeah.
So the guy lets go of the kid, and Dylan knocks the guy into a trunk, he pins him against her trunk, and then he hits him with his motorcycle helmet or something.
You got it.
So the guy let go of the kid, but there was no guarantee that was going to happen.
No, he could have made the situation 1,000 times worse.
Yeah, he could have used that kid as a shield.
He could have killed that kid.
Right? It didn't seem like the best thought out plan there.
But local hero nonetheless. So he traps him in the trunk of the car.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, "I'm claustrophobic and white. Mark was wrong." I don't know how he knew that, but and then so he's just waiting for the cops to arrive, I guess, or it drives him to the police station.
I'm
not
no
exactly
idea
sure how it worked.
I mean, he arrives at the hospital the same time as Kelly, so I don't know, but. Because the woman was pregnant and she goes into labor probably from the stress.
A month early.
Yeah.
Not too bad.
No, she looked really happy about it, actually.
She was like, "Oh, God, I'm sick of being pregnant."
So, yeah, so they're there when she's giving birth, and then there's a bunch of TV cameras and a film crew. And
they're like, "Hey, you're a fucking hero. We got white criminals. We've got people giving birth. It's the story of the century in Beverly Hills."
Right.
And they're like, "What were you doing?" She was like, "Oh, I was just having coffee with a friend." "Oh, who's your friend? Your boyfriend?" Like,
yeah, they kept calling him her boyfriend.
You ever fuck him in Mexico? They're like, they really get very intimate about this boyfriend situation. She's like, "Oh no, his name is," and Dylan's over there like with a mag. Is like comically like. If one of the reporters just turned to the left, they'd be like, "Oh, is this guy hiding behind here like he's in a 1940s screwball comedy?" "No, see, it's not me, see?"
And he's mouthing no.
Yeah, so she's like, "His name was Steve Sanders."
That's so stupid. Like, why would you choose Steve? Like, seriously. I don't get it. And just make up a story about why you were with Dylan.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like you were fucking. You were
apparently
in the parking lot.
Yeah, I thought because we don't see everything that happens between the two of them, and at one point Steve is like, "Oh, you guys weren't doing anything or whatever. You might as well be sleeping with each other." And they just look at each other like very guiltily, and I guess that was about Mexico. But like, I expected them to reveal that they had sex that day.
Yeah.
Because it just seems so weird that she couldn't just be like, "No, I was with my friend Dylan, who is just a friend. We're not boyfriend and girlfriend."
Yeah, they were acting very, very suspicious.
Yeah, the TV camera reporter handed her a piece of paper that said, "Do you like Dylan?" And there was yes, no, and maybe to check.
So they bring Steve in on this bullshit. Which, like, right there, that's not the best idea. Steve's not, like, the most reliable person, you know?
This is a guy that guaranteed he could get a bunch of losers laid.
Right. But he does agree to help them out, despite the fact that he's really judgmental about the whole thing.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's like, "How the fuck do you two live with yourselves? You're fucking losers," or whatever.
So
he goes, "I've seen angels."
Right? So then he's at a Sex Anonymous meeting.
Yeah.
Which, this is so stupid. This whole storyline. Or I guess, I'm sorry, I'm crossing storylines.
Chronic masturbator Steve Sanders.
But yeah, he's like, "Oh, I'll get juicy stories from this." Oh. It's an anonymous group. That's not fair or right to do to people.
No, it's scummy, but everything he does is scummy.
Right?
except for when he doesn't do something scummy.
And then he gets a sponsor who's a hot chick. Like, that would not work like that.
Right.
Like, they wouldn't have...
Oh, it's Sexaholics Anonymous, and your sponsor will be someone of the opposite sex if you're heterosexual.
Right.
If you're homosexual, we'll make sure it's someone of the same sex. We'll make sure you want to bang whoever your sponsor is.
Yeah, it's stupid. So she comes to the office because they're going out on a date.
Yeah.
A lunch date, and he's like, okay, Janet, like, no big deal. Like, she left him a message, too, saying, like you said, that he was a chronic masturbator, which is hilarious.
That's either the story he came up with or he just drew from personal experience.
So they go off together, and Janet's like...
By the way, kind of fucked up that... Because everyone is violating the anonymous nature of this organization.
Sure.
She calls and leaves a detailed message about his sexual, like, dysfunction.
Right.
On an answering machine. Like...
At the office.
That's pretty fucked up.
That's not even at his house.
No, I know. I just, like, anyone could have heard that, and someone did. Janet did.
So, yeah, he pretends like he's doing this for the paper, but I don't think so. He certainly doesn't. Weird. He doesn't get any stories from it.
Well, and he's very like brazen with the girl, where he's like, "Oh, tell me all about this feeling you fucked," and because she had sex with actors and politicians and stuff, and she's like, "Oh, well, Bill Clinton." You seem like you're getting way too into this, and he's like, "Oh, this is better than porn or whatever."
Yeah, and she's like,
"Okay, forget it."
What?
Huh? What?
She's like, okay, forget it to him, or you're like, okay, forget it to me.
No, that's what she said to Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, she's just like, we cannot, like, tempt each other or something like that. Like, I'm not going to be, the one that,
I'm enabling you and
ruins your recovery
fantasies.
Yeah.
Imagining me with a bunch of politicians.
Which, again, like, not appropriate.
No.
Anyway. David sees them together and gets introduced to her and asks her out.
Yeah.
And then Steve can't keep his mouth fucking shut.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
He's like, oh, you better watch out for that one. Because she's a nymphomaniac.
Yeah, like, David has to ask a few times what he meant before he tells him.
He acknowledges that he shouldn't tell.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't tell you.
But, yeah, he definitely does.
Yeah, no one knows what the fucking word anonymous means. But he's pissed because he's being hailed as a hero and he doesn't think he deserves it.
Yeah.
And then the woman is like, look, you're a hero, Steve. Why don't you act like it? Don't be a fucking dirt-dealing piece of shit like you're being right now. And he's like, oh, okay. And Janet's like reading the paper with him, and he's like, oh, they named their baby Steve after you probably because you saved their lives, and you're such a hero. You're the greatest guy in the world, and I knew you had this in you. And he's like, yeah, okay. It's not me, though.
Right, yeah, he feels really bad.
He does. He has a conscience. We did abandon the one story, the hero story.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know. It's just because it all overlaps. It gets confusing.
It does all overlap. But anyway, so Steve basically tells them, look, I don't like this. I'm telling Janet. I'm pissed off about this whole situation. You need to talk to your significant others and fucking get over it. And it really seems like the two of you just belong together. Like, that you shared past lives and were in the Old West together or whatever the fuck you happened with you guys. The dreams of Dylan McKay.
Oh my god, that was the worst episode ever.
And so he's like, so just fucking do it. And they call him down. The police call him down to identify the guy.
Which is awful.
Because they lost paperwork or something.
Yeah.
It was really weird. Some stupid thing. But like, Janet finally realizes something's going on with him. He's got to pretend he's sick and stall until Kelly gets there because she actually saw him so she can identify generic white guy. Mm-hmm. And when she leaves, Janet's like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, it's not me. I told you it's not me. I didn't do this. I didn't, and then he tells the whole story. And Kelly's all freaking out. And she's like, fucking Janet knows. She's got a big mouth.
Yeah, so Kelly is terrified that Janet's going to tell people, so she tells she tells Dylan, like, we have to come clean, we got to do it tonight, I'm telling Matt everything, and he's like, everything, even about Mexico? She's like, yes. But she's a chicken shit. Does she really want to break up with Matt? Like, I don't get it.
I don't know. Well, she doesn't think she cheated on Matt.
She really didn't.
Because he was with his wife at the time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I get it. Was he fucking his wife?
I don't know, probably. I think so.
If he was, then yeah, that's not really cheating. Dylan 100% cheated on Gina. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Dylan doesn't give a shit anyway. He's asking her, he's like, what about us? What's going to, happen with us? And she's like, us? And he's like, yeah. She said the difference between, you and Gina and me and Matt is that I actually want to be with him and I love him. And because he was like saying...
She's like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing. And he goes, yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, he's like, I don't like the way I've been treating Gina and I feel like I should just stop it or something like that. And it's like, yeah, just end it anyway. Yeah. Like, whatever.
I do think they have good chemistry, the actors. Mm-hmm. And I do think that they could have a good storyline together, but they're not. Mm-hmm. He's like... The way they're writing this, he's being a complete asshole to her, and she deserves way better.
Yeah, it's not good.
And I don't know if they're trying to set up Matt and her or whatever. I mean, we'll get to that, but because Matt says something like, I guess this sort of crosses over. Matt's talking to her about Dylan, and he's like, you said you should fucking push Dylan away or whatever. Maybe you should. Like, if he doesn't appreciate you or whatever, maybe you should, like... push back a little bit.
Yeah.
And he goes, it'd be his loss. Like he she looks at him like, oh my God, your cock like looks so tasty right now because you're giving me compliments.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a little bit of chemistry there between the two of them.
But yeah, so what happens is, Dylan chickens out and does not break up with Gina.
Well, he doesn't chicken out. He feels bad for her.
Yeah, we'll get to why.
Okay.
And then Kelly does tell Matt that she was with Dylan and not Steve, but does not tell him about Mexico. So when they meet later, Dylan and Kelly, he's like, what happened with you and Matt? And she's like, I told him, but I didn't tell him about Mexico. And, like, he's mad, but we'll get through it. So it's supposed to, like, reassure the audience, I guess, that they're not breaking up yet.
Yeah. It's dumb. Like, the whole thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Gina and Matt have this whole thing going on because she got a job offer. Was this for figure skating? Or
yes.
Okay.
Figure skating television, whatever the fuck that is.
And she's so excited. She's like, I really want this. I really want this. She brings it over to Matt, and she's like,
the Olympics are coming up,
She's
the
like,
Sydney Australian Games or whatever. Yeah. Oh, that's Summer Olympics and not figure skating, so.
Okay. But he's like, oh, they're lowballing you. Of course they are. Like, we need to, ask for more money, get what you're worth. And
yeah.
And she's terrified. And she's like, I just want a job. I just want this to work. And he's like, no. They're undervaluing you.
Yeah, we'll get you the money you deserve.
So he calls them and says, hey, we got your offer, and I'm using it to line my birdcage, and then hangs up. How is that like a lawyer response? That's
not professional.
Awful. No, not professional in any way.
That's the kind of thing that you would see in like a fucking crappy movie, but it's not how actual negotiations are done.
Right. And then somehow later they actually are getting some kind of communication from them. So I'm assuming some conversations occurred besides the, lining the bird cage. But we don't know. It all happens off screen.
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing that's annoying about this whole storyline. But it's so funny, too, because, like, how is he a fucking expert in every case? Contract law is a thing.
Right.
That's a specialty.
I think
that lawyers specialize in.
I think these writers just don't understand how lawyers work.
They have to have entertainment lawyers.
But they think that their entertainment lawyer is also going to represent them when they get a DUI.
I guess so.
So, I don't know. But yeah, so...
It's like, well, what's your day as a lawyer like? Tuesday I got a murder trial. Wednesday I've got a divorce. Thursday I'm drafting a will.
Right.
sorry. I derailed your thought
dancing
process.
over there. Oh, no, you really did.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We were talking about the storyline of Gina and Matt and how he hung up on the guy. They get a response via fax.
The response is not good. Apparently, they signed the person that they had before. Who
Kitty Carlisle or whatever.
Yeah, she had like wanted more probably too or whatever, and
supposedly because like Matt's trying to play it off like he didn't fuck up. And I mean, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. I don't think he handled the situation the way a professional should handle the situation. But he may be right in the fact that, like, oh, I understand. They only offered you the job to light a fire under her ass to sign a deal. She was probably asking for like a lot more money or something like that.
right.
And they were like, oh, you want more money? Well, look at this. We can get somebody else.
So yeah, they got the other person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the person that they had all along. She signed another 3-year deal.
So Gina's devastated, and she's just sitting like in the living room of the Malibu Barbie Beach house, crying, not answering the phone, not answering the door. And Dylan just lets himself in. He's like, "What's going on with you?" And there's no way he could. I don't blame him for like not telling her that.
No, she was completely devastated. She was crying. He was like, "Oh, you can live without that fucking offer. You don't need that or whatever." And she's like, "Yeah, I know, because everything else in my life's so awesome." And she's like, "You're about to tell me that what else I can't live with, right?"
Yeah, because she'd gotten his messages saying they needed to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "Oh no, don't even worry about that."
No one wants to hear that. No one wants to hear we need to talk.
So yep. So they don't break up. Kelly and Matt don't break up because she doesn't tell him the whole story. Although, truly, like, I agree she didn't cheat on him.
Yeah.
But she should have told him.
I agree. She should have told him.
So, at this point, it's still almost as bad.
Yeah. But David, with the nymphomaniac woman, so he hears she's a nymphomaniac. This is a very easy subplot, because besides the fact that he dyed his hair black for some reason...
It doesn't look great.
They mention, hey, Eddie Munster or whatever, and, like, that's it. That's all they, like, no one says anything else about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he dyed it for another role or what the fuck's going on, but it's weird. But anyway, so he goes on a date with that nymphomaniac girl, and he's like, oh, why don't we go back to my house and fuck?
Yeah, he's like, I've got a cappuccino machine.
You like fucking,
place.
right? You like sex? And she's like, I have a nail appointment. He's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then he feels bad, I guess. All this character growth happens off screen. And he calls her down to the peach pit, and she's like, yeah, I gotta leave or whatever. That was never explained either. Where's she going?
Yeah.
But I guess on a short trip or whatever. But anyway, so he's like, hey, I want to talk to you about the other day. She's like, yeah, I want to talk to you about the other day too. And she's like, I didn't blow off our date because I was getting my nails done. I chew my nails. I hate manicures or whatever. Panicures. That's everything.
What?
Pan means everything. Don't worry, it's a weird joke. Anyway, so she's like, you know what? Forget it. And he's like, no, I know you're a sexaholic. And she goes, Steve told you.
Yeah, and it's awful, and Steve shouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly. But Steve is into outing people, like when he outed that gay guy.
Right. But she's just like, well, I think I moved past it, and I want to move forward with you, David.
Well,
you met him once.
It's because he says, do you want to go out on another date? And we don't have to have sex.
Basically.
He was like, yeah, I was being an asshole the other day, and let's just get to know each other and, like, have dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to move forward with you inside me.
Yeah, she said it's been a very, very long time. So, yeah. He's going to get laid.
Apparently.
So, and I think that's pretty much it. No. I mean, no, it's not.
No, there's a complete other storyline.
Oh, Noah and Donna.
Yes!
This is stupid.
Yes, it is.
And it's another thing that's happening that's not going to matter. So
yes, all of that is correct.
So Donna's just walking down the street and looks over and sees Noah sitting in a diner.
Yeah, and the Purple Rose of Cairo diner or whatever the fuck it's called.
And she goes in there and sits down with him. Doesn't even ask if she can sit down, by the way. Just sits.
He keeps looking over his shoulder, and I 100% thought some woman was going to come out of the bathroom and be like, oh, I just wiped you off my thigh or something like that. But instead, the waitress comes up. He looks very nervous. He looks like he wants to fucking die or whatever. And he says to Donnie, he's like, hey, why don't we get out of here? I'll just throw some money on the table and we can leave.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay. So he does. And then the waitress comes up and she's like, Noah, I think Sal finally got the eggs exactly the way you like them. And that interaction alone was enough for Donna to go, oh, I see what's going on here. Fuck you, and leave.
Yeah. She, like, way overreacts. Like, again, if she is this paranoid, she should not be with him.
No, this is fucked up. Like, this is a fucked up reaction.
Yeah. And so then when she actually talks to him later, he explains that he just
I have been going to see her. And I have been trying to form a connection with her, but it's not what you think. I'm not involved with her.
She's like, I don't want to fucking hear it. What's this part that's supposed to make me feel better? He's like, she's my sister.
my half-sister.
Yeah.
And apparently she didn't even know about him, and he didn't know about her. So that's the whole thing. It's like, that's a big thing that there should be some explanation for, but they don't. There's no explanation.
Because he doesn't, like, she's like, oh, so your dad had an affair. And he goes, he had a whole nother life.
Right.
What the fuck? Like, no, that needs to be explained.
But it's not. It's not. None of it is. He just, like, eventually, like, Donna gets meddlesome, like she always does, gets involved, talks to the sister, and finds out that she's leaving town.
Yeah, to Florida.
So somehow I don't even know. I assumed she was just going to tell her, but she didn't. She told her some shit, though, to get her to go talk to Noah.
Yeah.
Before she leaves.
Yeah.
And she's super happy to hear that Noah's her brother when he tells her.
Yeah.
Like, not weirded out at all. Like, I think other people would be.
This is such a rushed storyline. There's no substance to this at Like, he basically just like, yeah, you're my sister. Don't you think our eyes look alike?
Which they don't.
Even though mine are green and yours are brown.
It's ridiculous.
And she's like, yeah, I guess. I'm fucking glad I came. She's a bad actress, too.
Yeah.
I'm glad I came here to, like, she starts to turn away and he's like, no, but you're my sister. And she's like, oh, what? I think I just heard you say, and he's like, yeah, that's right. Your biological dad and my dad are the same person. And nothing needs to change about your life. Don't become part of the show or anything.
Right.
But
good thing you're leaving for Florida.
I just want you to know that you got a brother out there. And she's like, oh, great. And they hug. And it's like, you're essentially hugging a stranger.
Yeah.
It's weird. The whole thing's weird.
Yeah. So, and then we'll never hear or see her again.
No, she's gone.
So.
That's all the storylines that are fit to print.
Awful episode of an awful show.
Yeah, I'm maybe the last season. Maybe the last season they'll return to some kind of form.
I hope so. They need to, fix this.
But that is the episode for the week. Carol, tell people where they can find their long-lost sibling.
So you can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com.
Mm-hmm.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yep.
And share the tapes with your friends.
Oh, yes, next time. Bye.
Bye.